Now, what's going on with you today? Hope you're staying blessed out there, my friend. I want to talk a little bit about this Kid Cudi story from the other day. So the other day, Kid Cudi decided to bring out the big guns. He brought out the chopper. Now, he brought out the chopper after he got criticized for wearing a dress. So let's talk about it. So you guys remember how over 2 years ago, and we spoke about this, but Kid Cudi appeared on SNL, Saturday Night Live, for a performance. Now, the controversial part about this performance is, if you're looking at the screen, the boy Kid Cudi decided to pull up in a dress. Now, this back then actually made major headlines. Like, this was a really big deal. A lot of people were talking about this. Cudi was specifically getting a lot of pushback from the hip-hop community, because I'm sure you know why, right? Hip-hop is a male-dominated space that exudes a lot of masculine energy. Cudi back then responded to this, standing very firmly on his decision to wear the dress. One of the very specific aspects why this was so controversial, well, let's just say that the term humiliation ritual comes into play here. I'm sure you might know what I'm talking about. It's a conspiracy about the entertainment industry that's been around for a very long time. And you know what? I don't even want to call it a conspiracy because there's parts of this I actually believe in, but I don't think that necessarily applies to this situation right here. So a lot of people saw Kid Cudi wearing this dress and they said, look at Kid Cudi wearing this dress. Looks like he's validating these thoughts that we've had about the entertainment industry for a long time. And this is obviously especially relevant because we're talking about another black man, okay? Kid Cudi is a black man. And black men tend to be more scrutinized in the entertainment industry, historically speaking. So I just wanted to scratch the surface on that and give you a little bit of context as to what we're going to be touching on a little bit. But let's talk about what happened the other day in relation to this topic right here. So the other day, there was this account on Twitter that decided to tweet something. The person said, Kid Cudi participating in an Illuminati humiliation ritual. Is the fame and fortune worth it? ? Hashtag we want answers. And on his tweet, they attached Kid Cudi performing on SNL wearing the dress. Now this tweet went, I guess, semi-viral, and it actually ended up catching the attention of Mr. Kid Cudi himself, who decided to respond. Now this is what Kid Cudi said as in response to this tweet. Dear, and then the person's name, you silly stupid little person and all people under this post. It's the start of a new year and I got time for motherfuckers like you today. This post is mad fucking lame of you and sad. A black man can express himself and be confident and successful without it being some conspiracy. My success was given to me by God with the help of my many angels. All you people in the comments that have been tweeting me all day about this can gargle on my mail. This moment was a proud moment for me, a shining moment for all people who expressed themselves in their art. I felt free and alive. It inspired people and nothing you stupid, simple asses say can take that away from me. Happy New Year, you freaking simps. ! Emoji, praying hands emoji, and kissy face emoji. So that was Cudi's response, and as you can hear, the man is obviously fed up with all these negative comments about him wearing this dress, because it's obviously not the first time he's gotten criticized for this. He wore the dress over 2 years ago and now it's going viral again. People are on his case once again. So first of all, let's clarify a couple of things. The first thing being the fact that Cudi wearing this dress was actually a tribute to the late Kurt Cobain, who Cudi was a big fan of. And I know that because there's a pic of Kurt Cobain wearing the same exact dress when he was alive. The dress was actually designed by Virgil Abloh, rest in peace. So there's that. It was a tribute to Kurt Cobain, and that's about it. Now there's of course another side of this conversation, which is the humiliation ritual. Did the entertainment industry make Kid Cudi wear this as a way to emasculate the black man? Now that's one hell of a conspiracy, right? About that, I'll say this, and this is relevant to specifically hip-hop. This dress aside, I think the black man in hip-hop has already emasculated himself way before any of this stuff. We literally got grown men promoting poison to their community, guys. Like, we're talking killing and drugs to their community. That's what they're promoting. Are you telling me Kid Cudi wearing a dress is worse than that? How come we never talk about the quote-unquote conspiracy behind that, which isn't really a conspiracy? When it comes to gangster rap and the kind of things that they promote, there's obviously a lot of truth behind what they're trying to do with the music there. So honestly, I feel like Kid Cudi wearing his dress is just a distraction from what's really going on in the culture. I mean, we got bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies piling up in so many different communities, which obviously hip-hop didn't create the violence, but hip-hop not only promotes it, but hip-hop also glorifies the violence. So I look at that and I say, I don't really see nobody dying from wearing dresses, but I do see a lot of people dying from the kind of lifestyle a lot of the rappers in the industry promote. So the question ultimately becomes, where do we put our focus? Because we can't put our focus on everything all at once. We can't get distracted by Kid Cudi wearing a dress and simultaneously discuss the issue of why we got children glorifying not only violence, but also indulging in violence and promoting said violence to their community. Like, guys, we literally have a 9-year-old boy promoting the most vile things in his records. A 9-year-old boy, okay? You guys know who I'm talking about. That 9-year-old rapper, Lil RT, who I've talked about, and I've condemned everything he's about. And obviously it's not a personal attack against a little child. I just don't like what they're doing with the little boy's platform, because he's not the one who's behind all this dysfunction that he's pushing. It's adults. So speaking of this little 9-year-old boy, guys, have you guys noticed how there's not a single hip-hop platform that's spoken out against this little boy right here? Think about that for a second. I'm literally one of the only, I think I might be the only platform, honestly, that's actually taken a stance against what they're doing with this little boy's platform. But it's funny because the same platforms who ignore the dysfunction they're pushing with the help of this little boy's platform through hip-hop, those same platforms have a lot of things to say about Kid Cudi wearing a dress. In other words, let me simplify what I'm saying. All this public discourse, I think, should be focused in the right place. And considering how spiritually broken down hip-hop is right now, we cannot afford to put our attention on something like this. I think part of the reason why we have so much energy for, let's say, like a Cudi wearing a dress or painting his nails, and we don't have that kind of energy for this other music that's obviously very vile and very violent, is because, you know, hip-hop is a male-dominated space, and we as a genre have gotten very desensitized to the dysfunction a lot of our favorite male rappers are pushing. And anything that kind of pushes back on the idea of what it means to be masculine is going to get a very strong negative reaction. Keep in mind that hip-hop inherently is a genre filled with misogyny. There's the kind of misogyny that they talk about in the mainstream, which isn't really misogyny a lot of times. But if we actually take a look at what hip-hop promotes in the music and in the culture, what the music and the culture promotes and glorifies, this is real misogyny right here. I think as hip-hop fans, we do have to just be able to admit that the genre is filled with a lot of toxicity, man. I mean, at the end of the day, man, we got a bunch of black men disrespecting their own women, and a lot of these guys have made millions from disrespecting their own women, and no one bats an eye. As a matter of fact, a lot of us sing along to this shit because it's so normalized in the culture and in the genre. Part of the reason why this is happening, well, let's just say that the black woman is the most disrespected woman of any race, historically speaking. So that's the reason why no one gives a damn. That explains that. Regarding Cudi wearing his dress specifically, though, at the end of the day, I don't really think he's harming anybody. If there's a rapper I would expect to wear a dress, it's actually Kid Cudi. This is a guy who spent his entire career talking about how mentally messed up he is. In other words, Kid Cudi has been a big mental health advocate. I mean, that alone has put Kid Cudi in a completely different space in hip-hop because he's never been one to stick to the norms. So I say that to say, I don't really think nobody made Kid Cudi wear this dress. He did it because he wanted to wear it. Call it artistic expression or call it whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't really know. All I know is that the man wore a dress and he's standing on the fact that he wore that dress. I think something that a lot of, you know, the fans in hip-hop are missing is this. There's places in this world right now in 2024 where if a grown man wears a dress, that grown man is gonna get stoned to death. Did you hear what I said? I said if a grown man wears a dress in certain parts of this world, that grown man is going to end up getting stoned to death. Now, this is important because if you live in the Western world, this is not something that you have to worry about. Now, in Western society, if a man wears a dress, well, what could and probably will happen in most cases is he's probably going to get socially ostracized from his community. In most cases, that's about it. And even then, what can happen sometimes is because there's a lot of people in this world who are really ignorant, that person can end up becoming a victim of violence. Now, traditionally speaking, men don't wear dresses. I don't really believe in men wearing dresses because I come from a pretty traditional background myself, but I do realize that there's a lot of people out here who actually want to do that, and sometimes those people are men. I think Kid Cudi wearing his dress is a symbol for those people that they can actually break free of any hesitation that they might have, and they can go and live their life in that way. They can go wear a dress, they can go paint their nails if that's what they want to do. At the end of the day, I think as long as you're not harming anybody, go do you. And as someone who comes from a very traditional background myself, I do actually, I'll tell you this, I do feel something inside of me when I see another man wearing a dress. Because growing up, I never saw that. So that little, what the hell is going on here? That's inside of me actually when I see something like this. We're in 2024 though, and I realize that we live in a world now where people are just more open with who they are, because now people actually have the ability to be open with who they actually are and who they want to be. I think it's one thing if you being who you are is hurting people in any kind of way, and I think it's another thing when you being who you are isn't hurting anybody, and it's just a way for you to express who you actually want to be. At the end of the day too, you definitely got to keep in mind that the amount of men who actually want to wear dresses out here, man, it's always going to be a very small minority. If that very, very small minority of men have someone they can look to for that confidence that they might lack inside of them, who am I to say anything about that? As long as we don't have a situation where you try to, force me to wear a dress or, paint my nails, we good, okay? As long as you don't do that, because I'm not gonna wear a dress and I ain't never gonna paint my nails. And also too, on the other side, don't try to question me because I say that I don't want to wear a dress. Because sometimes on the other side, what we do see is, let's say someone says, hey, I don't think men should wear dresses, and then someone comes out and questions you like, why shouldn't men wear dresses? Could you explain that? Well, the physical construct that is clothing, well, I like to hold on to that. And then someone might push back on that because they don't want to hold on to that and they might want to wear a dress as a man. If you want to be fair on one side, you got to be fair on both sides is what I'm saying. Anyway, that's enough for this topic because I don't want to keep going. If you made it this far, could you do me a favor and like this video? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Also, make sure you're subscribed because a lot of y'all be watching these videos and you ain't even subscribed. What the hell? Do better, bruh. Appreciate you guys for joining me for this conversation. Any thoughts on this conversation regarding Kid Cudi going viral for wearing a dress? You know the story, you know my opinion, and now I want to hear what you have to say. Curious to hear what you have to say? See you in the comment section below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. I'm out.